start with the Green Bay Packers basically putting on ski masks, going into Dallas, and stealing Micah Parsons from the Cowboys for peanuts. I cannot believe that this trade happened. I think, obviously, Green Bay won the trade. There's many angles to break down here. I'm going to go with the Packers angle first because I do think, and I haven't seen a lot of other takes on this, I think the Packers are right there as one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but in the league. This puts them in the serious Super Bowl consideration. I had them in my tier 2 for Super Bowl contenders earlier this week. They clearly vault to 1. I mean, I don't think people realize just how good Micah Parsons is, okay? This move, going from Dallas to Green Bay, I believe is bigger than the Matt Stafford trade from a few years ago. When the Rams got Matt Stafford, everybody was excited. Obviously, it led to a Super Bowl. But Micah Parsons is in his prime. He's only played 4 seasons in the league. Matt Stafford was 33, a little older. You know, the Christian McCaffrey trade was big. Khalil Mack trade was big. This is seismic. I mean, folks, Micah Parsons, again, I know he takes a lot of heat for inside the locker room stuff, his podcast. We will address that because it bears some discussion. But let me just remind folks, Micah Parsons in year 1 was runner-up Defensive Player of the Year. Okay? He's been an All-Pro 3 times in 4 years. He has 12 or more sacks in every season he's played so far to start his career. It's not hyperbole to say Micah Parsons is already on track to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer after 4 seasons. He's in the discussion with the likes of Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Myles Garrett, as one of the greatest pass rushers in NFL history after 4 years. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but Parsons is a terror coming off the edge. And if you're the Green Bay Packers and you look at your defensive roster and you're like, oh, we got Gary, we got some good linebackers, we got a good team. What you didn't have was that blue chip superstar where you go into the divisional round of the playoffs and the opponent looks at how are we gonna block Micah Parsons? What are we gonna have to adjust stuff? You have to scheme specifically for Parsons. Now, teams have done that in the playoffs with some success, but you look at Gary coming off the other edge, and this Green Bay defense suddenly is a wrecking crew. And I would like to point out that their odds after the draft to win the Super Bowl were plus 2,200. Okay, that was after the draft, and I'll tell you why the draft is important. This morning, they went to plus 1,200. So right now, the Packers are right there, cream of the crop. They're in the Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Niners. They're right there at the top. And the draft is important because I missed this, and I was kicking myself this morning for missing this. I think everybody did. But at the draft, the Green Bay Packers in the first round, we know what they don't do in the first round, right? They don't take wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers bemoaned that fact. He openly was like, we don't draft receivers in the first round. We need one. I need some help. Packers have a really good wide receiver room. It's deep, it's young, it's talented. They got a lot of guys. And they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. I was like, oh, Matthew Golden. It's not like he's Jeremiah Smith or something. Golden, really nice player. He's like 5'11", $190. I know he's a burner, but it was a mild surprise they broke character at the draft getting Matthew Golden. And I should have noticed at the time, but smart businesses sometimes adapt and change and say, we've done things one way, we're going to make an adjustment, and we're going for Golden. Now, their wide receiver room, I mean, it doesn't have that high-end Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, but in terms of depth and talent, it's top 4 in the league. Golden is going to be that guy. Get him on your fantasy team. Now you add Micah Parsons, a massive trade. What did we hear from NFL pundits all week, guys? Packers, they're not going to get Micah Parsons. They don't do that. They don't make these huge, splashy trades. Haven't done that forever. Once again, the Packers break character, go out and get a superstar, a blue chip. How do we stop that guy coming off the edge? And I believe the Green Bay Packers probably will be in the NFC Championship game. I'll say likely against the San Francisco 49ers. And then we get the Trent Williams matchup against Micah Parsons. And, boy, Green Bay fans, you've got to be absolutely geeked. I got a buddy who is a Milwaukee Brewers fan, and he's a Green Bay Packers fan, and he's doing cartwheels. He's like, Brewers, baseball, Packers, football. It's a great day in Green Bay. And by the way, for those who are saying, well, Packers overpaid, and we'll address it, Jordan Love's contract, they got him early, guys. He is only the 13th biggest cap hit at quarterback in the league. You want to take a guess who's first this season? Dak Prescott, biggest cap hit in the league. And let's move to Dallas now and address that side of the trade. I want to start positive because might want to earmuff it, Cowboys fans. This is going to be a little negative. So there's this fun exercise that I've been told to do. You know, you turn 30 years old and you're supposed to look back at your younger self and like write a little letter and say, man, don't you wish you knew this at 20? And then you do it at, at 30, you're like, oh man, in my 20s, relationship stuff, maybe you're finding a potential mate, work, you're getting out of college, and some stuff you could learn, and you give it to your younger self, you hand it down to your kids, relatives. So when you do it at 40, it's mostly about, having kids, buying a house, that next step of life. But when you read about this, the one thing that it keeps coming back to is you need to act with less emotion. In relationships, in work, just chill out, calm down. Now, if you couldn't tell, I tend to get emotional sometimes, specifically about sports. And I think Jerry Jones got really emotional here and made a horrific decision, okay? If we're to believe Micah Parsons, who told Jane Slater, by the way, she's going to be coming up as a guest here in about 30 minutes. He told Jane Slater that after news broke this week that there were trade talks for Micah Parsons, Micah and his agent, who his agent's really good, went to the Cowboys with, quote, empathy, and they wanted to get a deal done. And allegedly, according to Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones got very emotional and told Micah and his agent, play on the 5th year or leave. Folks, that is not how you run a football team. That is amateur hour. Amateurs act on emotion. Pros, they look at the numbers. And the numbers said, Jerry, you bungled this badly. And for those out there who were screaming, JMac, wait a minute, they didn't overpay. And they got an extra first-round pick, and they got Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark ain't very good, but that's another story. Guys, the reason that this got this far was because Jerry didn't do this last year. If he had gone last year and said, you know what, we can't afford CeeDee Lamb, Dak, and Micah, you do this last year. You could have made the deal last year and got more for Micah Parsons. Why wait so long? I mean, at worst, if he had done this at the beginning of the offseason, Jerry gets a bidding war started among several teams. Now, there's a report that the Raiders had called, but they were late to the game. Does Jerry, I understand he's a billionaire, and I understand he's had success, 30 years ago with Jimmy Johnson winning a bunch of Super Bowls. But did Jerry just totally misplay his hand here? Well, yeah, clearly. He bungled this so badly. Folks, paying Dak and Lamb and knowing that you can't pay Micah, you should have done this last year. Now, Jerry Jones went in front of the media on Thursday after the trade, and guys, he claims he's been thinking about this trade for a long time.
We did think it was in the best interest of our organization, not only the future, but right now, this season as well. We've gained a Pro Bowl player in an area that we had big concerns in on the inside of our defense. The facts are, specifically, we need to stop the run. And we haven't been able to stop the run at key times for several years.
Boy, if I was allowed to use expletives on this show, I would have come out of that quote and said, what the are you talking about? We need to stop the run? What kind of alternative universe is Jerry Jones living in? Folks, okay, fine. You knew you needed to stop the run at the draft. Let's take a look at the Cowboys draft, shall we? They got an offensive lineman, an edge rusher, a cornerback, a running back, a linebacker, an offensive lineman. Oh, there at pick 217. Mr. We've got to stop the run. You waited 217 picks to get a defensive tackle? What? Jerry's saying stuff that doesn't even make sense. Guys, I got a buddy who's a Cowboys fan. His daughter plays on my daughter's volleyball team. We've known each other. We coach soccer together. He texts me, I'm literally crying right now after the trade. He was like, what are we doing? And, this isn't just Jerry screwing up the Micah deal and then trying to lie to everyone's face. What do they call that? I think it's called gaslighting. Hey, we knew we needed to stop the run, so, we added Kenny Clark. Like, bro, what? Come on. Nobody's believing that. And oh, by the way, Jerry, how's the recent track record of trades? Remember when they got Mingo, the wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers? Yeah, he's on IR to start the season. And even when he returns, he's looking at being the projected 4th or 5th wide receiver on the roster. They give up a 4th-round pick for Mingo. And do you remember Trey Lance? Jerry thought he had a great deal for Trey Lance. I mean, he gave up a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance. Not on the roster. Through a whopping, he played 4 games. Trey Lance played 4 games after Jerry Jones traded for him. I mean, does this guy even know what he's doing? One of the producers here, as I'm walking up to the set, goes, Jay, I had a good line when you left the morning meeting. If Jerry Jones wore his shirt inside out to the facility today, would anybody in Dallas have the cojones to tell him, hey, billionaire owner, boss, your shirt's inside out? Because it feels like nobody is telling Jerry what he needs to hear. And the Cowboys right now are a disaster. By the way, their odds, because I know you guys love odds, to win the Super Bowl, 60-1, longest that they've been since 2014 before the season. That's according to ESPN. So the Cowboys are a long shot. They're probably going to win 5 games. I know there's some people out there who are like, hey, we got 4 first-round picks now, Jay, in the next 2 years.